Hey, good morning, everybody. It's June 2024, and Todd back here from Playground World, Springfree Trampoline. And today I'll be installing a S155 13x13. I've done one of these before solo, and you may have watched a couple of my other videos. You know that I like to build the frame, flip it, because I actually think it's easier, less effort required to put all the legs on. And that's because when you put it frame side up, which you've seen before from other people probably, as you're sliding the legs into I think the pressure of the frame pushing down makes it a little more challenging when you're doing a lot of these to line the bolt up, the leg bolt as it goes in. So I do think it's easier building the frame upside down and a big one, two pieces, flipping it. But today I'm going to do one of the traditional by the book where you build a frame right side up, where you slip the legs underneath. I'll try to show that. But a couple things I'm going to flip the image around for starter. Is that just a couple things, again, orientation of the frame, the blue dots. The blue dots are always the leftmost section of any frame piece. Oh, by the way, there's a frame serial number. So as you walk around, and then the green dot, which is important for net orientation, is always at the right end of the straight section of any tram. A couple of things I always do, I like to put the small box that has the legs in the mat, and I put that in the center, so as I'm working around putting my bolts on, I'm only a couple of steps away. As you see, I've laid out the entire frame. One other thing we always talk about are the dots on the legs. So the yellow dot in the center post, that always needs to face to the outside of the trampoline, because there is a little bit of an offset. There's a little offset in that angle. So it's really important that the yellow dots always go to the outside. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the frame bolts, the big bolts, which go right in there, the big bolts. And all the bolts, the nuts go to the inside. That way it's a little cleaner look and no one's gonna brush by the frame and snag their jeans or their leg on something. So, all right, here we go. So I might chop my head off occasionally, but just when you see what's going on. All right, so just a quick pause for editing, easier. All right, now the legs go on. Again, yell it out to the outside. I still like to go ahead and put the bolts and nuts on now. Otherwise, it seems like as you're going around, the other side falls out.
Boo. This is what I mean by the weight of the frame pushing down. Like that.
All right, now we're just gonna put all the leg bolts in. Again, nut to the inside.
We're just hand tightening.
All right, so that's the leg bolts and the frame bolts, all the nuts to the inside. Again, I think this will help. Doing it this way keeps the frame cleaner, but I do think it requires a little more manipulation of lining the hole on the frame with the hole in the leg and getting your bolts through sometimes, because the weight of the frame presses down and the leg goes too far up in there. So definitely I'm faster the other way, but I do that religiously quite often. So all right, so now we're going to tighten them all up. I do use an impact hammer, 1/2 inch drive for the legs, 3/4 inch drive for the frame. I think that's 19 and 13 millimeters. Key is very short bursts, do not over tighten. Quick pause. All right, now we're gonna put the net on. I'll show you how to orient that to the frame. All right, with the net, first thing you wanna do is find this green tab, all right? That always faces out towards you. In this first little hole next to the green tab is where that first rod's gonna be, and I have it next to the green dot. And this is also gonna be the side that your opening is gonna be on, all right? So let's do that. First rod, green tab, green dot. All right, so if you do that, your net will be oriented properly to the frame. And then I like to walk the net around, and I actually go counterclockwise because that'll snug the net up against the rods. Just like that. All right, a couple things. I'll try to show this. I'll do this all by myself. All right, so as I start to put the rods in, I will literally slide my left hand along the top, and I'm always feeling for the next dot so I don't miss any, because if you miss one, you'll wind up with an extra rod. You have to start all over again. So I slide my left hand as I go along. So when you watch me feeling, that's what I'm feeling for. I'm feeling for the next rod slot, if you will. Okay, with installing the rods, I do like to go clockwise, and you'll see I'll pinch some between my legs and just start feeding them as you go along. Don't miss a spot. All right, that's all the rods. Next is the mat, where the magic happens. All right. So all the mats have these blue tabs, and again, it's a square. So orient the mat inside as a square, so you have the corners and the corners. But other than that, the rod next to the blue dot goes to the blue tab, and we do the blue tabs first. So the first 8, that'll equalize pressure as we go around. Do not start in one spot and just keep going until you get the other side. There's no way you're gonna get it, all right? So blue tabs first, do them all first. Elbow to the side, palm up. Pro tip, always make sure all these clamps are oriented like this. If you have one that kind of looks like it's sliding inside, always pull it back out, make sure that tab overlaps. And you'll actually see me as I'm going along the next rod. I'll actually roll it like that, looking for that one, because otherwise that rod will shoot through here and it's a pain. Plus, I actually will roll it a little bit like that, and that actually opens up that socket for the ball. The key on the rods really is this. Go as high on the rod as you possibly can. That's going to give you more leverage. Elbow on the side, palm up, and push kind of up and forward. And always make sure you feel that lock into that socket before you completely let off pressure, or that thing's going to be coming back at you like a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. All right? So once we do the blue dots, then we basically eye attack it by doing, it's not always the same, but basically skip 2, do 2, or skip 2, do 3, skip 2, do 3. And again, you're trying to equalize pressure as you go along. So let's do that. I'm counting the rods as I was counting the clamps. Again, double check that the center post is in the right spot. It's not kicked out. Okay. All right, that's the rods. Next is we're gonna bring the net up. Be careful don't snag your net. And then we're gonna put the net poles in. Let's walk over here for a second. Gonna spin the camera around. All right, so on the 13 by 13 and 8 by 13, anyone on the long side, you're gonna see this little yellow tab. And I'm gonna kind of try to do this. Pinch the camera between my legs here. And basically, this yellow tab has a little opening. You're gonna get 4 of these long fiberglass rods, and the rod goes in the little hole. And you're just going to push it down. And basically what this is designed for is so that long run of the net doesn't sag. Now sometimes that drops right in, sometimes it doesn't. So pro tip, I'll use a little slotted screwdriver. Carefully put it in the very end. And use that as a little bit of a lever to drop it in like that. All right, and I always like to do those first before I do the net poles. Here we go. Basically goes through that little hole, goes through that little hole, and you're gonna hear that little ring. You're gonna feel a little clunk, and that's it. And actually this little slot's important because when you're putting a hoop on, the first hoop clamp goes up here, and the other one's just going to go wherever it lines up, and that way the hoop's always on the same place all the time. All right. All right, quick pause. All right, gonna put the net poles on. We are doing a hoop, but I'm gonna bypass that. I'm gonna do another video, but I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, quick pause. I ain't gonna put the hoop on. I will show you what it looks like when I'm done, but I just want to keep this video a little bit more controlled as far as time. There are a couple tips though on the hoop on a 13 by 13. You can put it on any of the corners. Just can't put it on the long stretches, it won't work. And also put it where you want the ball to go when the kids throw it out of the trampoline. So if you have a fenced in backyard, you don't want to put the hoop on the fence side because the ball is going to be going over the fence, and there you go. So I always like to put it on, hey, try to keep the ball in the yard. All right, here we go. All right, almost done, ready to raise the net. So that's all my trash. I got everything in all the cardboard in the square box, all my plastic recyclables in the plastic, ready to put the net up. Here we go. Okay, I like to walk around again. I'm just going to help cinch that net all the way to the top. And always just double checking the center post if they're in the right spot. Almost done. Another quickie here, turn the camera around. So I think I showed you early where the frame serial number is. So here's your net, G4. Boy, that's getting worse all the time. Mat is over here, right there. So always photograph those or keep those for your record. So when you do your warranty registration, you know where they all are. 10-year warranty on trampoline, bare feet and socks, better rubber soled shoes. 2 and a 12-year-old at the same time, not a good idea. All right, thanks for watching. That's a S113, S155 13 by 13 with hoop. And I do have a ladder. I'll put that in here in a second. Time to grab the customer.